All right, well, welcome in. A lot to discuss today. We will have Ross Tucker on the show later. A lot to talk about with the game. It's a big day in sports. Hall of Fame announcement of baseball tonight. And, of course, all roads lead to Sunday with the Eagles and the Commanders, the Bills and the Chiefs for the right to play in the Super Bowl. And, Hugh, we now await for the first practice of the week, which is going to be tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
First practice of the week, and then we'll find out.
See how our boy doing.
Yeah, how's Jalen Hurts? How's that knee? Because as we know, and we see this all the time, you live this life. Sometimes you have an injury in a game, and then adrenaline gets you through, right?
Yeah.
And then you kind of go home, and the next day, and then you get swollen or just sore, and things change. So we're going to find out how mobile Jalen Hurts is on Sunday against the Washington Commanders. But I was thinking about the game. I was thinking about this coming game. And, Hugh, the more I think about it, the more I'm crossing my fingers that Jalen Hurts is going to be close to what he normally is. Because I believe the Eagles need his legs to win this game. In fact, I'll just say it this way. I don't think the Eagles can win this game on Sunday if he is totally immobile, if he's just a pocket quarterback and he's not able to do all the other things that makes him special. Because he's not just your standard sit-in-the-pocket quarterback. He is a runner. He had a 44-yard run for a touchdown on Sunday. And his threat of the run impacts the pass rush, and it impacts how teams face and play against Saquon Barkley. Hugh, we're heading to an uncertain week. I mean, I'm pretty sure he's going to gut it out and play. I'd be shocked if he doesn't do that. I mean, he's going to put a brace on. He's going to go out there. He's going to do his thing, even probably with a knee sprain. But we don't know how mobile he's going to be. Hugh, can the Eagles win without Hurts' running ability?
Yes. And I think we saw a little bit of that the last time we played the Commodores. You know, the Commodores are a different team from the last time we played, and they've been rolling a little bit. But I still think that the premise still is the same. They changed the way they played when Jalen went out the game. And there still were some opportunities there for us to win that game, even though they started to crash in on Saquon and try to slow the run down a little bit. The deciding factor in that game, I think, that which turned the tide was when CJ went out. When he goes out that game, defensively, we're different. We're a different team, you know. And I feel like if he's out there and we're clicking on all cylinders, and I know Nakobe Dean is not going to play, and that's going to be a huge thing, but still, I think we match up well with the Commodores. The thing that sticks out to me about them the other night in the game that they won, and we talked about this yesterday, the matchup favored them, especially in the running game, because the Detroit Lions were decimated with injuries on one side of the ball, and then finally caught up with them. So, long talking a little bit. With all that being said, no, I don't think that we don't need Jalen's legs to win this game.
All right, so that's interesting. You brought something up there. The last time these two teams faced off, we saw the game right down in Washington, and Jalen went out early, had the concussion. And, Hugh, we kind of saw, I think it's really, the way you framed it's really interesting, because when Pickett came in, it's almost like a version of Hurts without legs, right? Now, Pickett's he's not a total statue, but he doesn't run like Jalen. For you, do. And, Hugh, in that game, which the Eagles obviously lost, but we both said that next day, they could have won, right? Kenny played well enough, and they had a chance to win the game. And CJ certainly was a big loss in that game. But I remember Kyle pointing this out the day after that game when we argued for like 4 hours and we all needed a Christmas break after that about Hurts' loss in that game and how it affected things. One thing that I remember that from that day when we all argued. So Saquon ran, and most of the game Jalen was out, right? He only played the first two series. Saquon ran that day 29 times for 150 yards.
Yeah.
But he had a 68-yard run in there. One huge run. If you take out that run, his other 28 carries went for 98 yards or whatever it was, 96 yards. He ran for 2.9 yards a carry, 82 yards. 28 carries, 82 yards, 2.9 yards a carry on all the other carries, which told me without Jalen in there, it was tough sledding for most, except one home run.
But it was sledding nonetheless.
It was tough sledding.
Listen.
2.9 a carry?
It's probably going to be cold Sunday. Probably going to be cold.
Boy, it's cold today.
Yeah, it's brick.
Woo.
It's brick. No, it's what you call brick. You see, I actually had to put on, like, for real clothes today. No
Not
pajamas
shorts.
today.
No shorts today?
No, that wind was cutting through them PJs.
He's got a pair of pants on today, everyone.
But the game that they played last week against the Detroit Lions was a physical game. And to your point, Joe, even with that 2-point-something yards per carry, he still ended up with over 100 yards, well over 100 yards.
Yeah.
You know what? If it's me, you know what I'm doing? Because Jaden Daniels, you know, I'm looking at, you know, TV this morning or whatever, and everybody's talking about how great he is and all this other stuff. He's a good quarterback. And I even talked about how envious I was yesterday of how he looked in a small sample size. But you know what I'm gonna do when this game Sunday come around?
What's that?
I wouldn't be surprised if they go 2 tight ends and just run the ball.
The Eagles
play keep away. This team, that Washington team, as well as they play, they're beat up. I mean, we're beat up, but we're in a better position than they're in because we're at home.
Yeah,
they've been road warriors for the last couple of weeks.
Well, this actually will be their 4th straight road game, which no team has ever gone to the Super Bowl with 4 straight road games.
Let me tell you what I would do. What's that old saying? 3 yards in a cloud of dust. As I slap the table, 3 yards in a cloud of dust. That's it.
1990s
That's
football.
it.
Let's
3 yards
it.
in a cloud of dust.
All right, so I get that, and that they're going to have to rely on their run game. They have all year. 215-592-9494. But when I think about the game, I believe the Eagles need Jalen Hurts' legs to win this football game. I think they need it. Look, I go back to this past Sunday. If you take away that 44-yard run, they don't win.
You worry too much.
They do they win the game without that 44-yard run?
No, they don't. But I'm trying to tell you,
this Sunday.
This week, in this game, only thing you need, if Jalen's out there, only thing Jalen needs is his arm to work. Hand the ball off to Saquon. Throw like that 100 and some odd yards you threw for last week. Do that again.
About that arm and Jalen Hurts. The passing game isn't exactly like...
Dude.
Like, all right, let me give you an example. Mahomes, right? Mahomes, Allen, right? These are mobile quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Just like Jalen, especially Allen, right? He plays similar to Jalen. Like, if for some reason they got a bum ankle, one of those guys, or a bum knee, they just beat you from the pocket. This pass game right now, which is some Jalen, some AJ, some the offensive line this past Sunday. This pass game right now is abysmal. I mean, it just has been that way for weeks now. So the reason the Eagles are winning and here they're scoring up is because their run game with Hurts as a part of it is such a huge deal. And I keep thinking back to the other day when he kept getting sacked. And I'm like, wait a second. Can he move around? Can he get away? Or are we about to go, and have this moment happen? 215-592-9494. Can the Eagles win this game on Sunday without Hurts' running ability? But, Hugh, my eyes were open a little bit yesterday.
Eyes wide open.
Yeah, a couple of...
That just felt like I should
singing?
do that.
It's okay, yeah. How about a couple of Spartans? A couple of former Spartans.
Sparties.
Trying to give us some knowledge. So I'm driving home yesterday, and I hear this from Mike Reese with maybe a little twist on why this could be a good thing for Jalen in the pass game if he's not 100% what is he. Here's Ike yesterday.
This may be a good thing because if you don't have the crutch, again, no pun intended, of being able to run whenever you want to, you have to operate the offense. You have to get the ball out of your hands quick because you know you're compromised from an athletic standpoint. You know you can't outrun guys. See, that's the problem with mobile quarterbacks is the overconfidence that
they can just get out of the way.
I can extend the play with my legs. That's what Lamar does. You think Lamar's sitting there going through progressions? You watch Lamar Jackson play, and when he holds the ball, he's just back there dancing around with the ball because he knows he can make people miss and then hit you down the field. That's confidence in his athletic ability that he doesn't have to rely on timing with the offense. So when we talk about the Tanner McKees and the Kenny Pickett's who throw on time and get the ball out of their hands, it's because they're not relying on athletic ability to extend plays. If Jalen can't move the way he wants to move, he has to get the ball out when it's supposed to come out, and that's going to make the passing game more of a rhythmic offense.
So I get the premise. I mean, Hugh, it makes sense, right? If he doesn't have his legs, it may force him. It's almost like, if you have a bad leg, right? It might force you to do something stronger with your hand. Like it's like the body and the mind
kind of what happened to Donovan when he was hurt and he broke his leg and he still finished the game. Byron Leftwich, I think it was in college, had a big college game at Marshall.
Yeah, they carried him
down
the field.
They had to carry him down the field. Yeah, Byron wasn't a running quarterback, but you get the premise.
Donovan was.
Yeah, Donovan was, and he beat you from the pocket. Yeah, it's one of those things, man, where it puts you in a position where you have to be – you can't rely on your athleticism as much as you once did. I know a lot of people want to point – I saw somebody last night had a graphic where they showed the play where Goddard was open, and they were talking about with his safety and talking about Jalen could have made that play.
He came over the middle.
Yeah, he couldn't have made that play because it was too bang bang. But Jalen held the ball because Jalen probably felt like he could make that play if he was healthy.
Well, that's it, right?
Yeah.
And now maybe
it forces you to throw the football, throw it on time.
And part of this is coaching, too. They're going to have to set up plays where he gets the ball out of his hand so he's not dancing around back there with lack of an ability or less of an ability than normal to run the football. Or so Ike said that. And then I saw this from a guy who knows both Ike and Jalen well, pretty darn well. Listen to Nick Saban yesterday, Pat McAfee show, thinking back to when he had Jalen at Alabama and what he tried to teach him then.
I think the one thing, and this is any athletic quarterback and every one of them, and when Jalen was with us, we would have team and 7-on-7. And I would say, you cannot run. You cannot scramble. You have to throw the ball on time. And because these guys are so athletic, they see the rush coming and they think they can scramble and get out of it. And a couple of those sacks that he took last night, he took them because in normal circumstances, no snow, no bad knee, all that, he probably would have been able to escape and get away and make a play. And he's done that so much in his career, it's hard to tell a guy, hey, don't do that. But I was trying to train him to become a better on-time passer, by not allowing him to do it in practice. And I think he improved in that regard, but he's still a great athlete, and those guys are going to make plays, and you can't take that away from him.
What's ironic is the story about Jalen Hurts has been the same for 8 years, right? He's an athlete. He's a good player. But, his instinct is to move. If he can't move Sunday, or if he can't move like normal, can they win this football game? 215-592-9494. Can the Eagles win without Hurts' running ability? I don't think so. I think we need him to be able to move in that pocket and move away from pressure and be part of the run game. Otherwise, it's going to be tough sledding. Hugh thinks they can.